I just think of myself as Floyd Mayweather. What I want the people to really know is this, and what they got to really know is this. I can really fight. So that's what you got to know. I don't know if he had 1 fight or 2 fights against like probably another YouTuber. I don't really know. He can come out, fight hard as you want to fight. The results will always be the same.
We couldn't fight in LA. Commissioner said, Floyd, don't hit him too hard. Go light on him. Take it easy on him. I said, well, LA, y'all can't get this fight.
A lot of times when guys fight me, guys fight just to go the distance, to say, I went the distance with Floyd Mayweather. But guess what? Can't stop me. You name a fighter, the results, it's always the same. I tell my kids, go out and build your own legacy like I did for myself. I was able to beat the best in my era. I'm still undefeated. I mean, I think it's gonna be crazy. And I think it's good for the sport of boxing. But I'm not worried. You can mark my word to this. I can guarantee you this. The results will always be the same.
Setting aside the talk about retirement for a moment, the recent training footage coming from Floyd's camp tells a different story. Rather than someone casually preparing for an exhibition, the clips show a highly skilled boxer refining his craft. It resembles a seasoned technician carefully honing his tools, rather than an athlete simply going through the motions.
Sit back. Boy, you shouldn't me. He said, how you got a million? He said, how you got all the money? And boy, I don't take no punishment. I move. You got it? Make sure the old lady got it. You got it? Okay. I want the old lady to know. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm an old man. So record the old man. Whoa.
He's turning it up now.
Oh. Okay, Mom. Mom, Michael, come here. Let's make it look good for Mom. Come back. Make it look good for Mom. 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 Get back. Get back.
During pad sessions, his punches land with the same sharp timing and precision. The combinations come in rapid bursts, delivered from accurate angles with no unnecessary movement. It gives the impression that his instincts and training habits have remained fully intact. When he shifts to the heavy bag, the approach changes noticeably. It is no longer only about light contact and movement. The punches arrive with clear purpose, tight, direct, and carrying unexpected force. The sequence suggests that when accuracy is executed at the right moment, it can deliver real impact. Footage from the sparring sessions also reveals a noticeably different atmosphere. Instead of light practice or relaxed rounds, the work appears disciplined and purposeful. The exchanges show measured pressure and structured intensity, suggesting preparation for an opponent who brings significant physical size and presence. This is where the discussion becomes more complex. Many observers label the bout as a financial play, yet training camps rarely operate with this level of seriousness if the goal is only spectacle.
Nope. Nope. That's me. Yo. Right there.
It's not again.
Nope.
Resting.
Nope. That's it. Yo.
When preparation reaches this level between two legendary fighters, the discussion naturally begins to change. The focus moves away from simple nostalgia and starts to center more on reputation, personal pride, competitive drive, and lingering psychological rivalries between the two icons.
Yes. Bring it on. Low. Oh, yes.
The moment Floyd enters the ring, the conversation shifts away from discussions about business or promotion. Attention turns entirely to the matchup itself. The focus becomes the meeting of two legendary fighting styles under the spotlight, where the atmosphere carries genuine pressure, real consequences, and undeniable intensity.
Boxing pretty. Boxing pretty. Woo! Done.
Sharp training footage of Floyd moving with precision creates the impression that time has not affected his movement. However, those visuals stand in contrast to the skepticism expressed by Sean Porter. Porter's reaction is not based on training highlights but on logical evaluation. When Porter says the matchup does not make sense, his response reflects an analytical perspective rather than disrespect. Speaking from a fighter's point of view, he compares the situation to something closer to spectacle logic than traditional ring logic. That single observation shifts the discussion away from hype and toward the question of whether the matchup is truly feasible.
I don't see this one coming unless you know the history of these two guys.
Yeah, they don't like each other too much, do they, Sean?
When you look at the history, it's kind of like for a street fight. It doesn't make sense for like a in the ring situation, and so it's kind of like, I guess for the sake of words, crazier things have happened, and then now you have to say, well, no, it doesn't get crazier than this.
Porter then raises another key question. How can anyone properly evaluate a fight between Tyson and Floyd? That is where the real complexity lies. On one side is a heavyweight legend nearing 60 years old. On the other is a defensive specialist whose entire career has been defined by speed, angles, and the ability to avoid danger before it arrives. Porter also mentions that Tyson likely completed very little sparring before his bout with Jake Paul. That detail becomes especially significant in this context. Facing someone like Floyd without sharp sparring preparation would make timing extremely difficult. Porter explains that Tyson would need quick sparring partners simply to adjust to Mayweather's rhythm. It is the type of technical insight fighters notice, while many casual viewers often miss it.
See, it was directly because he did not spar. If he's going to get in the ring with Floyd Mayweather, the thing he needs more than he needed with Jake is timing. The timing just wasn't there in the fight with Jake Paul. If he's going to get in the ring with Floyd Mayweather, he's going to have to do some sparring. He's going to have to spar some, really fast guys. And I don't know at what level he's going to take this serious. You know what I mean? I don't know. Mike, I think he's just beyond that age of there's something you can do to muster it up.
Right.
I think he's all ketchup. There's no mustard there anymore.
Then Porter drops the cat and mouse analogy for Floyd, which fits perfectly, as that style has defined his career for decades. But the image he paints, what happens if Tyson actually connects, instantly creates tension. Technically, Floyd can evade nearly everything, yet Tyson's sheer power and mentality are still a real threat. Porter then circles back to doubt, questioning whether the fight will even happen, which contrasts sharply with the intense training visuals circulating online. This creates a compelling contradiction. On one side, elite-level preparation. On the other, analytical skepticism. In between lies a matchup that feels both improbable and captivating at the same time.
He has done the cat and mouse game his entire life, you know? And so he knows how to be fast. He knows how to get in and get out. You know, the thing that I think would be really interesting to see would be to see Mike get a hold of him, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think if Mike were to get a hold of him, Floyd's a professional. He knows how to get out of those things. But this is like 200 and something pounds, and it's Mike Tyson, and I know mentally it's I finally got you, you know? And I wonder what that's going to look like, you know? So it's not until you start to talk about it.
The uncertainty created by Potter's earlier points about timing, sparring, and the unusual challenge of Tyson attempting to solve Floyd's elusive style shifts again when Wade Clemens offers his reaction. His tone reflects confusion rather than excitement, which immediately changes the mood of the discussion. When Wade expresses surprise that the contracts are reportedly finalized, the situation begins to feel less like speculation and more like an example of boxing embracing spectacle-driven events. He compares the matchup to the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson event, describing it as a similar type of attraction in today's boxing environment where well-known figures can still generate massive attention, even when the logic behind the matchup raises questions. Wade also highlights the significant difference in size between the two fighters. This observation reinforces Potter's earlier point about how difficult it is to evaluate such a fight. Instead of focusing only on styles or tactics, the discussion now expands to include the physical contrast between Tyson's heavyweight power and Mayweather's speed and defensive skill.
All of the tape, they have it here. Mike 59, Floyd 48, Mike 5'10", Floyd at 5'8". Floyd with a 72-inch reach at 5'8". Mike with one of the shortest reaches for his height, 50-7, 50-0, and their KOs. No mention of the weight here in the tail of the tape. Interesting. An exact date and precise location are not yet known, but nonetheless, Tyson said he's thrilled to be slated to mix it up with Floyd, who he hasn't always had the greatest relationship. Quote, "This fight is something neither the world nor I ever thought would or could happen." That is correct. Fair play to Mike there. Iron Mike said, however, boxing has entered a new era of the unpredictable, and this fight is as unpredictable as it gets.
Wade Clemens also pointed out that many casual viewers believed Mike Tyson still had something remaining in the tank. He connected that belief to what audiences had recently witnessed, emphasizing real ring movement rather than reputation or past mythology, though he also remarked that the event could draw either massive global attention or very limited viewership, highlighting how unpredictable the response might be. That uncertainty reflects the unusual atmosphere surrounding Tyson's current stage of competition. Despite expressing criticism toward the spectacle, Wade admitted he would still watch the fight himself. His reaction illustrates a common dynamic among modern fight fans, where curiosity exists alongside skepticism. He also raised concerns about how exhibition bouts at this stage of a fighter's career might influence how newer audiences judge the legacies of legendary athletes. At the same time, Wade acknowledged the financial motivations connected to these events without framing the issue as a moral debate. His comments align with earlier observations that many exhibition fights are influenced by the opportunity for significant earnings. As a result, the overall discussion becomes more complex. The situation cannot be described purely as entertainment or purely as sport. Instead, it represents a combination of interest, criticism, and public attention that continues to surround high-profile exhibitions involving iconic fighters.
Think that this one's going to be any different? The answer is no. Floyd, even though he's slowed down, even though he's much smaller, is going to run circles around Mike Tyson in this. Mike's going to have real trouble even getting to the fight. If we saw the Jake Paul exhibition, Mike was hospitalized for a bit. Then he had to take a lot of time off from training, had a stomach ulcer, and then again, the limping to the ring. Oh, man. The whole detrimental to his health. It's detrimental to Mike's health to even try to do this. The article keeps going, this fight will be an exhibition, so Mayweather isn't risking his perfect 50-0 record, though he doesn't sound concerned about Tyson in any way. I've been doing this for 30 years, and there hasn't been a single fighter that can tarnish my legacy, Mayweather.
Wade's earlier comments about spectacle-driven boxing shift into a deeper discussion once Max and the panel begin analyzing the situation from an insider perspective. The conversation starts to frame the matchup less as a traditional contest and more as a large-scale event driven by business considerations. When Max remarks that veteran fighters should be allowed to earn money, the statement comes across not as sarcasm, but as a straightforward acknowledgement of the financial realities of the sport. Soon after, Shady outlines a possible sequence where Tyson appears in an exhibition first, followed later by a Pacquiao rematch. That outline resembles less of a competitive comeback and more of a carefully planned series of major events built around pay-per-view appeal. The tone becomes more pointed when Max references Terrence Crawford and suggests that a matchup with Crawford during his prime might not have been pursued by Floyd. The remark functions as a subtle critique presented within analytical discussion, and the reaction in the room suggests that some panel members recognize the implication even if they avoid stating it directly. Another key point arises when the panel acknowledges that both Pacquiao and Floyd are no longer competing at the highest physical level they once maintained, yet the potential event is still described as massive. That contrast highlights a broader reality in modern boxing. Even as athletic primes decline, the commercial value attached to legendary names can remain extremely strong.
Well, Floyd was never going to fight Bud, but Pacquiao? By the way, when Floyd, the rumors were, or the reporting was that he was going broke, you were skeptical about it. Now that he's coming back, are you still skeptical about it?
Very good, Max. Yeah. Are you skeptical about it, Shady? That's one thing I don't do. I don't talk about no other athletes' money. I don't do that.
By the way, my hope is that Floyd isn't going broke. So, if he is, that he makes all the money in the world for a Pacquiao fight and rides off into the sunset a rich man. I wish him the best.
I want to fight somebody. I don't care about the money and all that. Who you want him to fight?
That's not good with Pacquiao. Pacquiao just drew with Barrios.
And you see, Max also mentions that he never believed Manny Pacquiao had the stylistic advantage against Floyd. His reasoning reflects the same defensive hierarchy idea often discussed in boxing analysis. A fighter who is longer, sharper, and more disciplined defensively usually controls the pace, even years after their prime. At the same time, the panel openly acknowledges that the first Mayweather-Pacquiao fight did not deliver much excitement. Despite that admission, they still discuss the possibility of watching a rematch. That reaction highlights a familiar pattern among fans: criticism after the fact, but strong interest when the event actually happens. Max reinforces this point with a comparison involving the Super Bowl, suggesting that many viewers might still choose to watch a live Mayweather versus Pacquiao event instead. The example illustrates the pull of their global recognition rather than their current athletic peak. Throughout the discussion, the panel quietly accepts that business considerations now play a larger role than pure competition. This idea connects directly to the Tyson exhibition narrative, showing that these events are not simply nostalgic moments. Instead, they appear to be carefully organized spectacles that prioritize major viewership and financial scale. For longtime fans, this creates mixed emotions, but the continued fascination surrounding these names remains undeniable.
Watching Floyd fight is actually more my style of that perfect boxer.
That's what
when I do a pound for pound ranking, I'm trying to be objective. Pacquiao jumped more weight classes. What he did pound for pound to me was more impressive.
But you have him over Floyd.
But I never thought Pacquiao was going to beat Floyd, ever.
But
never
Pacquiao, he's one of my favorite fighters.
Cool.
Floyd and Pacquiao, they're one of my favorite fighters. But I still want to see
Floyd's the longer, bigger, better defensive fighter.
Right.
You know.
But let's be real, what this is all about, business. This is going to be a mega event. Doesn't matter how old they are. They're the two biggest names in boxing today, even if they aren't, necessarily the most active fighters. And Mayweather's gonna have his exhibition with Mike Tyson in the con.
He knew he wasn't used to.
Not to get too far afield, guys. The point is, whatever you thought about that fight going in, when that fight was going on, you had to watch it. The question about making a big event is it compelling enough that even if I talk about this with Jake Paul sometimes, right? Whatever you want to say, when he chooses the right opponent, you're gonna.
Now the real question begins. Is this carefully crafted legacy storytelling, or simply two legendary competitors who refuse to let their fighting spirit disappear quietly? Share your perspective in the comments and join the discussion. And before you go, make sure to like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel.